Hi, I'm Peter Bradley, the manager at Sheep Genetics. It's with my great pleasure that I get to introduce a 5-part video series outlining and introducing our new combined land plan analysis. The series will cover an introduction to land plan video, which is this video. We've got 2 videos around the actual enhancements that have been made to our sheep genetics evaluations as part of this process. The following videos will look at the new breeding values themselves, including what they look like and the different validation that's been done to show that they are more robust. And then finally, we've got our last video, which will walk through what are the next steps and how to engage as sheep genetics clients with our exciting new combined land plan analysis. Before I begin the introduction into what combined land plan is, I would like to acknowledge the team that has been involved in delivering this world-leading evaluation. And that's both from a sheep genetics team. This has been a whole team approach towards this development. So I would like to acknowledge the rest of my team, as well as our partners at the Animal Genetics and Breeding Unit, who've completed this work under our MLA contract with them. It's been a massive undertaking, and it's been a real pleasure to work with people in both teams. I would also take this opportunity to acknowledge the contribution of the late Andrew Swan. Andrew tragically passed away at the end of 2024, but was absolutely instrumental in the success of setting up the combined land plan analysis. And this is a really great legacy towards Andrew's scientific career, but also the team of people who he brought along with him. So this video will cover an introduction into what is combined land plan. Before we begin, it is important to acknowledge our sheep genetics evaluations have been evolving for a number of years since we first launched Land Plan back in 1989. And this year, being 2025, we are celebrating 25 years of multi-breed evaluations for our terminal sire breeds, which is an absolute milestone. So we have had large-scale multi-breed evaluations for a number of years in sheep, and we saw the arrival of the maternal land plan evaluation back in 2012. Since then, we've been in this state of evolution, particularly with the rise of genomic information and the addition of new traits like carcass and eating quality traits to our evaluation. In more recent years, we've also seen things like the merino flock profile arise, as well as our database development back in 2022. And then finally, this year, we're really excited to launch Combined Land Plan, which marks 25 years of terminal multi-breed evaluations, but also 20 years of sheep genetics in its current form. So all of these things, the fact that we've had across flock valuations, the fact we've had multi-breed evaluations, the fact that we've had genomic single-step evaluations, along with our reference population projects and our database redevelopment, have really all accumulated into the one thing that we're able to deliver now, which is Combined Land Plan. And that is essentially the one-stop shop for genetic evaluation for our maternal and terminal genetics relating to lamb production. So for those that are familiar with sheep genetics, we've had the maternal and terminal land plan evaluations. Those two evaluations are independent, meaning that the breeding values arising from the maternal analysis cannot be compared to that in the terminal. Essentially, combined land plan is the merging of those two evaluations into one single evaluation. And that allows us to compare the genetic merit of all non-merino breeds. And essentially, it is making things simpler. We're simplifying our genetic message for commercial producers. So you can go to a ram sale where there are composite maternals and there are white Suffolk rams and there's Poll Dorsets or a range of other breeds that exist in Combined Land Plan, and those breeding values are coming from the same evaluation, meaning they can be compared. That's one really key benefit. The second is actually it is an enabler for us to deliver new genomic products that we haven't had for the land plan sector. So we've seen, I mentioned flock profile for merinos. That's been around for a number of years and has been a really good benchmarking tool for the commercial producer underpinned by genomics. The fact that we've got all of these breeds now in a single evaluation, except for merinos, enables us to begin to deliver those genomic products for this other sector, which is really, really exciting and will be one of the key benefits down the track that we will see from Combined LAMBPLAN. Along with being able to combine these breeds, we're also taking the opportunity to develop new selection indexes for the different production systems that exist within Combined LAMBPLAN. It is really well and truly a world-leading multi-breed evaluation. And this is what has enabled us to actually combine these analyses, is that we've had a lot of linkage and overlap already between the maternal and terminal evaluations. That linkage comes from two key areas. One is what's happening in breeder flocks. So we've got breeder flocks that might be, say, have been purchasing terminal rams and using them in their maternal flock. Also, flock breeders that have both different breeds running them together in the same paddock or on the same site. And the other reason we're able to do it is also our resource flock, where we've had these head-to-head comparisons through the MLA resource flock, but also the sheep CRC information nucleus that has enabled this and made this possible. So you can see there, we've actually already got 35% of flocks in common between the maternal and terminal analysis. And that was a really key enabler in us being able to bring those two data sets together into the single combined LAMBPLAN analysis that you can see there on the bottom, where we've got, well over 4 million animals represented and an incredibly large number of genotypes. So 300,000 plus genotypes as it stands at the moment. And that number's only growing run on run. And that really, when I say it is a world-leading evaluation, the methodologies that we've applied and that the AGBU team have developed as part of this process have never been implemented in a data set quite like this anywhere in the world in any species. So it really is cutting edge. Our move towards a combined LAMBPLAN analysis also has a really strong alignment with MLA's new strategic plan, which was released in July this year, 2025. This sets out our targets for the next 5 years. And as part of that, one of the key, we've got 3 key focus areas. So you can see them there highlighted in the middle around optimizing demand. Really where genetics sits is driving profit, productive and sustainable growth for our red meat industry and strengthening the foundations. In order to achieve those priorities, we've set out bold ambitions. The third bold ambition there is really where Combined LAMBPLAN aligns with, and that is establishing multi-breed evaluations and livestock credentials. So what that means essentially is being able to provide evaluations like Combined LAMBPLAN that enable new products like flock profile and genomic benchmarking for a range of new breeds that allows that information, once we've got an evaluation that can produce those types of products, they exist, and that information can be fed along the supply chain. So ultimately, animals are sold and valued, most importantly, accordingly with their genetic merit to drive demand for improved genetic gain. When I think of an analogy about what is Combined LAMBPLAN, and it is around improving the sustainability, longevity, and future-proofing of our evaluations, I think a bit about the journey that we've come along and liken it to this one when I talk about farming country and land. So the evaluations in the early days when we first had Combined LAMBPLAN was a little bit like the picture you see on the left-hand side. They did the job and they were functional, but back in 1989, they were not across flock evaluations and they were only run for a handful of traits. So it's a bit like trying to sow a paddock with just a horse and plough. As our evaluations have evolved into the single step evaluations that we've had for maternals and terminals, I think of it a bit like the modern farming tractor system that an operation might be running if there's small to middle scale croppers. So it's probably a tractor with auto steer that's, of a decent size, but not huge. And I think that's a little bit like where we've come from, is that it's been very adequate, it's done a good job, and we've certainly improved efficiency as a result. But when I think about Combined LAMBPLAN, it's like having the plant and gear where the tractor drives itself into the paddock and you've bought something that's not just big enough for the farming land you've got now, but also for the neighbour's farm that you might buy out in the next year. And combined land plan really is like that, in that it's not just serving our needs, our immediate needs, it's also thinking about how our genetic evaluations are going to grow, and we've got a robust system to support that growth. So combined land plan is really around a whole range of different things. It's not just merging two data sets together. We've taken the opportunity to improve data management, look for increases in efficiency. So that is ensuring that we can run the analyses that people have got accustomed to with increased data sets. It's also enabling a greater comparison across breeds, and it's also a better, more accurate prediction of an animal's true genetic merit. It's important to bear in mind, though, as we've changed these things or improved and developed this new analysis, we've had to change things. So breeding values will move as a result of this enhancement. But movement isn't necessarily a bad thing. We'll see in later videos that we're actually doing a better job at predicting an animal's genetic merit. And that's really important because that allows us to drive genetic progress for the sheep industry at a faster rate than what we've already been achieving. So what does the release for Combined LAMBPLAN look like? As of the 15th of August run, so late in August when we received the results from that run, this will be run as a research analysis. So the maternal and terminal evaluations that people are used to will be used in the 2025 ram selling season. The combined LAMBPLAN analysis will be done secondary to those, and there will be and it will be run in parallel, and it will be clearly denoted, as you'll see in later webinars on the website, as a research analysis. And the reason for that is initially we'll only be receiving breeding values on growth, carcass, and eating quality traits. So that's growth like your post-weaning weights, yearling weights, weaning weights and birth weights, carcass traits like eye muscle and fat depth, and your eating quality traits like intramuscular fat and shear force. So we won't have all traits available from the start. Over the next 12 to 18 months, we'll see the release of new trait groups periodically during that period. So we'll see what lambing and worm egg count come on in later, reproduction. Finally, when we've got all trait groups available, we'll be releasing indexes. And then in 2027, we'll be decommissioning the maternal and terminal evaluations. So it is going to be an iterative process, and we will be running evaluations concurrently for a period of time. However, it's really important to think about what Combined LAMBPLAN means for your business and how you engage and utilize these new improved breeding values as they become available for your selection decisions. The sheep genetics team will be working really hard to ensure that we've got resources, including detailed explanations, webinars, podcasts, as we release each of these phases. So be sure to keep an eye out and engage with the communications coming out of the team. As with any enhancement, it'll be really important to ensure that you re-benchmark against the percentile bands. And considering how you're going to use these different sets of breeding values as sheep genetics clients, key classing and joining decisions. Obviously, for people that are purchasing rams within the ram selling season, we expect for 2025, the key purchasing will be done on the existing evaluations that people are familiar with. But please start to engage and encourage your clients to consider Combined LAMBPLAN and begin that learning journey with them early rather than at the point of when we're switching over in 2027. Look forward to you joining for the rest of the videos, and please reach out to the team if you have any other questions about Combined LAMBPLAN.